What up?
What's going on?
Nothing.
We're starting.
We're
We're
making
starting
it
off
work.
high.
We can get
Yeah, I
a
think
two fools
the
agree
o-
on that one.
the
Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot. Ah!
there was you had accountability. Now, what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
no, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently, there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust human race back wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
What's going on, sir?
What's up, dude?
You know,
Hey, 2 weeks in a row. Look at us.
right?
Back on target till football season starts again.
Broke the hiatus for a little bit.
Yep. How you doing? How's your week been?
Busy as shit. My week's been
Work?
busy as shit.
Work or
Not
other
quite
shit?
27 days in a row busy, but yeah, work.
Yeah.
It's been busy.
I got cocky at the end of last week.
It could always be busier, but go ahead.
No, I got cocky at the end of last week, and I was like, all right, shit feels like it's starting to settle down. That was a mistake. The lie detector detected that was a lie.
Right.
Oh, man. So I am.
But you handling a rollout, so you gotta expect nothing's gonna go
Right.
according to
So
plan.
we've had like applications that just came back this week. And of course, when they came back, it's not like they came back and they were good.
Right.
They came
right.
back and we found all the defects and shit that we should have found 3 weeks ago. So it's like, in some ways, it just feels like we're starting over. Now we haven't had the outages and stuff, and so it's calmer. But like, I was actually feeling pretty good about the week. Come Wednesday, the last 2 days just went to shit. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done.
Listen. Any light at the end of the tunnel?
I mean, I don't know.
No.
I don't know about
Doesn't
work.
sound
We'll
like
see. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Football season started this is how my week started off. Monday night rolls around. I log off about 7 o'clock, and I get a text from Jeff being like, "You out of town?" I'm like, "No. Why?" He's like, "'Cause I'm at practice." And I'm like, "Oh shit." Usually, I feel like our practices start like the last week of July. We started like a week earlier this year, I feel like, or maybe it's just because of the way the weeks fell, like the date is earlier. And
I don't
so
know. I feel like that's still your fuck up. That's your
No, it
mulligan.
was. That's what I said. I'm like, can a brother get a text? Can a brother get an email? Like, we haven't had, and I have not heard a word from any other coach other than the 1 day or 2 days I was able to make it this summer. Like, haven't seen any communication. And I'm not saying that's on them. Like, yes, that's on me, and I can acknowledge that. Now, my line to my players is always, when this job pays me what that job pays me, I'll be here every time. But Nah, that was just a fuck up on my part. And I felt bad about it because I'm like, we're just getting started. And then because I had the week screwed up, so it wasn't even that it wasn't on my mind. I just had the weeks flipped in my mind because I lost like all of July. Like really, I've lost my entire summer. I don't, whatever. I mean, when you're an adult, you don't get like summer break or anything, but like I've lost the time that I would usually take off during the summer. I didn't get to take off this year. And so.
And that can't be rescheduled?
I mean, it can, but like now football season's starting. So like taking time off, okay, I take time off from work, but then I still have football. So like, I don't know. I'm not to like a point of a breakdown or anything. I just need a break. Like I need 3 days. But yeah, so
don't get to no points of breakdown.
I get that text on Monday night, and I'm like, well, fuck. And so I go Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, what did I? Because I thought it was next week. What couldn't I take off for? That Camp of Champions shit that we do every year. So I missed that this year. Now we only went one day though. So we only went Thursday, stayed Thursday night. They came back this morning. So I only missed like a day. But still, like it's one of those things that you're like, damn it.
Now, it was hosted in the same location?
Yeah, down there at that farm in Chillicothe.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Nah, it was good. I mean, from what I heard, it was tough because it was hot.
Right. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, no doubt. That's
tough,
what it's supposed to be.
Hot.
That's that whole you got to break them down and build them back up as a team, right?
It's supposed to be a few kids throwing up.
Right? I'm with you. But yeah. Not ideal.
That's what's up, though, shit. But I mean, that from the sound of it, it sounds like you're in for a very busy run.
Oh, August is going to be a shit show because we are. Well, I don't know. All of the all the promises and everything that's supposed to happen after this project supposed to start next week or the week after.
Right, August. Yeah, I've been provided promises August as well. We'll see how.
Well, and that's my thing. Like, selfishly, I want it to happen, but for what's best for the company, it probably needs to wait a month. So I'm trying to convince my boss, like, let our piece of it go forward. I mean, selfishly, because I've seen the comps for the people that I get to promote. It gives me a good feeling about what I should be seeing, etc. But, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm also hitting the level now where, like, I'll have to sign non-compete clauses and that kind of shit.
Once you start talking work jargon, that's where my brain shuts off.
No, I get you. But that's one of those things that, like, once you have to start, I guess technically I had to sign one, but, like, I don't think I ever did, so they don't have paperwork on me.
This nigga's off the grid.
Right? That's not my fault. Talk to HR. Not compete. Show me it. Show me my signature on the paper.
This motherfucker's a ghost.
I'm gone. Oh, man. But, yeah. A-Reg is doing all right, though. He's done. He's done with swimming. I think he's ready for soccer and basketball to spin up. So I don't know that he's going to do flag in the fall because it goes parallel with soccer, and I think he's more. Honestly,
yeah, he wants impact.
I like him playing soccer more than I like him playing flag anyway. So it works for me, dude. Flag. There are too many dumb rules. Like, and I don't know what it's like as you get older, but like their level. Like you have like no run zones and like I don't know. I think it's so dumb. Like it's easier to teach tackling than it is to like reach and grab a flag.
No, that's definitely the case.
Especially with young kids that don't have the hand-eye coordination yet, anyways.
Right. That's what you need, the hand-eye.
Right.
But shit, after I got my goddamn shoulder ripped out, I thought that hitting was a little safer to me. Shit.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, that's the thing. I actually got into this debate with the coaches this week. I'm like, because we've been doing circuits or whatever to warm up for the defensive practice, but they're like agility circuits. And I'm just like, I used to run tackling circuits without pads.
Right.
Like either you're tackling a dummy or you're working on form fit or
Right.
like even rugby style tackling without pads. Like, and then we wonder why we can't tackle for shit the first 3 weeks. I don't know. It's just bothering me.
I mean,
I'm
if
grouchy.
I recall,
I'm grouchy right now.
throughout-
I'm having a grouchy old man kind of week.
Right. If
Get
I
off my
recall,
lawn.
throughout my youth playing football, we had tackling drills without pads as well. It just wasn't full speed.
Right. Like you should still be able to do like form fit and
Right.
Maybe I just need to turn my station into that and ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
I mean, sometimes that's the best way to go.
Right. All right. You got any inadvertence to get us going?
I do got an inadvert.
What you got?
So, like, of course, you know, I scroll through YouTube and shit and look at the videos and all that. And of course, we've brought it up 1,000 times on this podcast in the past. That maybe not, but I don't know. I know we've brought it up a few times. The clickbait out there.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And whether we brought it up in the past or not, definitely haven't talked about it to the point that it's getting outrageous with the clickbait.
All right, give me some examples, because my examples and your examples are going to be the same. Like, I'm in the nerd corner of YouTube, and so like the clickbait shit I see is Marvel or Lucasfilm reveals new Star Wars villain, and it's like, no, they did not. You're
Right,
making that shit up.
That's a perfect example, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, especially with the boxing videos. Excuse me. Especially with the boxing videos that I watch, it'll say to your credit, like so and so made a fight set for January 1st or some shit like that. You'll go through the video and it'll be somebody talking, and it's not even
them, yeah. Or it's like their people, or like they said, yeah, I would like to fight so and so, or shit like that.
Listen, that is at least close. You feel me? Like it, but to hear you talking about the situation when you titled it, just anybody, just a nobody talking about the situation, but title it that they made the fight type shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting out of control. But beyond that, I've noticed in the world of fake reality,
the digital reality.
I'm not even going like that. I'm just labeling where we're at right now. Like, this is the era of fake reality. Like, we have fake news with Trump.
Yep.
Now it's just the fake reality altogether. But I've noticed that people are purposefully messing up closed captions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they'll put the wrong word on purpose.
That's funny. It is, but it's also fucked up.
Crazy because I'm looking at it like that's not what he said.
That's not what they said.
Right, like, and then I just think like that's such a fucking disservice to the deaf community because they don't know what he really said.
Right,
and
right.
Now you have to decipher what you think they said, like a drunk text. It's
been a long time since I got a good drunk text. I don't know.
It's just weird to me. I don't get it. It don't gotta be something you receive. It could be ones you read from the night you sent prior.
Yeah, the last time I sent illegible drunk text was a little over a year ago now.
We all remember what that got us, don't we?
Damn. Oh, well. Here we are.
We all know what that got us, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Non-alcoholic beer.
Freedom! It got me freedom! They can take my alcohol, but they'll never take My freedom. Oh man. I would say I gained a lot more than I lost in that transition.
Cheers to that, sir.
Hey,
Cheers
fucking man.
That's all that matters.
I mean, shit, Andrew did too. He definitely gets the best version of me now. Now, the last month's been a little tough, but before that,
right.
Spend a lot more time with him. I got a lot more energy, and I'm happy. I mean, even with this like stress shit at work, like it's good stress, and I can handle good stress. I've always been able to handle good stress, like the kind of stress where like you have a purpose, you have a mission. Like, yes, it doesn't mean that it's easy, and I mean it goes back to sports, right? Like,
is it stress or is it pressure?
I would say it's kind of one and the same. Like, and that's like,
or is the pressure stressing you?
Good stress is a result usually of pressure for me. So if I feel like something's a high pressure situation, generally speaking, I actually think that I thrive in that. Right, I think that I struggle when there is no pressure and I'm kind of left to my own devices or my own thoughts and that kind of shit. Like if I've got a high pressure or high external forces on me,
right,
I feel like the majority of the time I come out on top in that situation.
Okay.
When I'm left to my own devices, it can get a little dicey.
See, I think the disconnect that I'm having with you is I don't really use that terminology.
Yeah.
And I try my damnedest not to stress.
Well, and maybe that's it. Maybe those high pressure situations, like I'm more comfortable. Well, and we've talked about shit like this in the past. Like, I'm more comfortable in that situation.
I am as well. I feel I see more of a stress. And that's why I said, is it more pressure?
Yeah, you might be right.
I do feel like a pressure and a drive to complete. But I also feel like I have more of a focus in those situations as well. It's almost like when your eyes adjust to the nighttime. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And that's exactly the way... Like, yes, this high-pressure situation that's work-related, it is leaving me exhausted, but it's not leaving me... It's not leaving me feeling overwhelmed.
Okay.
So drained maybe, but it's like that's not a bad thing.
I just gave you a synonym or whatever. Not a synonym. What is it?
Like a...
It's another word for the same.
Yes, that would be a synonym. Well done.
That is a synonym?
Yeah. Or a simile.
I know it's something.
Simile is usually like. You have to have the word like in there.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no. I don't know what the fuck.
No, but I think that you restated it in a way that still made sense to me, in the sense that it does give you that focus, like that high pressure, that tunnel vision. And even if it leaves me exhausted at the end of the night and drained, like it's not an overwhelming drain. Right. It's all right, you did what you were supposed to do today. Now go to bed and do it again.
like a gym day.
Right. Speaking of which, I need to get the fuck back in the gym. I've been out for like a month.
I've been out for years.
Yeah, but I was doing so well before all this shit hit the fan.
I haven't worked out at a gym since when I broke my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was probably 2019.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Have I been there since? Might have been there once or twice, but I haven't been.
But not with any consistency. Yeah.
Right.
No, I get that.
Yeah, but I do feel it. I do feel the need to. Yeah, fuck. I don't know what you got. You got any inadverts?
I don't have any inadvertents, but I'll give a quick download on Thor, the new Thor movie.
Thor.
So I went and saw that this weekend.
What's the new Thor movie? I didn't even know there was a new Thor.
Yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, okay.
And it was all right. Like the Marvel movies, as of late, this whatever phase we're in, I think it's phase 4. There's just not like that unifying thing. Like in the background of the first 3 phases of Marvel, like you had Thanos coming and you knew he was coming. I couldn't tell you like where they're going with the Marvel universe right now. Like the Thor movie was fine. I like Chris Hemsworth. I think he's funny. I think he plays the character well. It just gets so like jokey and hacky that I'm kind of like eh. But then
I did hear that one was supposed to be,
and it was
more of a,
which was interesting though because the villain had a very kind of like dark backstory. And so you have like the dichotomy of like all the humor, and then there's this very serious kind of like backstory going on with the villain. Like the movie starts off with the villain's kind of origin story, and like it rocks you a little bit.
I might like that though.
Yeah. Well, and what was interesting is that, you know, that was actually kind of the genesis for the topic tonight around the ancient gods, because the pantheon of God, like the main villain is basically the god killer. And so he is literally going around and murdering like all of the gods that are still around. And so you have like the whole Asgardian thing with like Thor still a god, and like they actually go to like the, I don't know, it's like the Celestial Palace or the Golden Palace or something, and it's a different realm, but it's like where all of the ancient gods go. And so you see Zeus, you see Osiris, you see like all of the Greek, Roman, Egyptian. They have some funny ones in there.
Okay.
So like they go to request help from the gods to stop the god killer, and the gods are like, nah, fuck you, dude. And then the story kind of continues. But so I think that's what's interesting.
Does he get any more gods in the meantime?
No, but he does steal Zeus's thunderbolt, which is a little weird. But what's interesting is, so you've got this kind of like ridiculous ongoing humor with like Thor and kind of the main storyline, and then you've got these 2 subplots that are very dark, like the villain's origin, and then Thor's girlfriend, Natalie Portman, basically claims Thor's hammer. And what it's doing is it's keeping her alive, but only when she has the hammer, because she's dying of cancer. And so you've got these 2 dark subplots, and then like it's nothing but jokes all around it. And it's just it's I don't know, it's a little interesting in that sense, because like the movie, like Natalie Portman is like dying throughout the movie, but when she grabs the hammer, she basically turns into the female version of Thor and like has all of his same powers, blah blah blah. But as soon as she lets go of the hammer, she's back to like dealing with stage 4 cancer. And so it's, I don't know, it's interesting, and I like what they were trying to do with it, and I like what Taika Waititi does generally speaking with the Marvel universe. And I've liked what he's done. He's the director. But but it was just, I don't know, it was interesting, like putting those things together, and I think it actually takes away from it. Like I think they could have done one or the other really well, and having both of them, I don't know, I was left like, I don't know what I was supposed to feel about that movie.
Yeah, right.
So
you don't even know if you liked it.
I don't. Like, I'll have to, I'm sure it'll come to Disney Plus at some point, and I'll watch it again, and I'll decide if I liked it or not. But that's the thing, is like that Doctor Strange 2, I mean, outside of the third Spider-Man with this generation of Spider-Man, the Marvel movies, like the last
Return Home or something.
Yeah. No Way Home.
No Way Home. Okay.
But outside of,
I tried to watch it.
Outside of No Way Home, like the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 Marvel movies, I've been kind of on. Now, I am curious to see what they do with Wakanda Forever here at the end of the year. So they're doing
Man,
that.
I would just like to see a real superhero movie.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like more adult.
I feel like DC tries to do that. Like, have you seen the trailers for Black Adam with The Rock?
That's not really it.
No?
No, that's not really it. I still feel like
That feels kind of that feels kind of Hancock. Like, that was the thing. Like, Hancock, if it hadn't been Will Smith doing his Will Smith isms, like, I liked the concept behind Hancock. And I think that that's what I've heard about that show on Amazon, The Boys. Is like,
yeah, that's what that
yeah.
Thor shit, that plot you just named reminded me of.
Have you watched The Boys on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
See, I haven't. And I think I would like it, but I'm not, like, I just never got around to it.
Long story short, it's just about a regular dude that has problems with the superheroes because they're arrogant and they do what they want. So he tries to kill them.
Okay.
And they form a squad of people that are trying to bring down the superheroes.
Okay. I mean,
They lost me a little bit in the second one. The second season, I mean,
yeah,
gets a little weird. So I haven't hopped on the third yet because I didn't finish the second. So,
gotcha.
But it is good enough that it made me want to come back to it. I just kind of feel like I want to skip it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about what's that shit that everybody went crazy for a while on Netflix.
Stranger Things?
Nah, superheroes.
Was it Umbrella? Not Umbrella
Academy. Yeah, Umbrella Academy. I watched that, or I tried to watch it when it first came out and everybody was making a big fuss about it. Couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And then when I was down in Florida, me and my dad, of course, wake up early.
Right. So you guys were killing time or whatever.
Right. And we were watching that and I got into it. We damn near, I think, watched the whole third season over the course of
the trip.
Right. And I liked it. I did. I enjoyed it. And it was to the point that I said, let me come back and try to give it another shot.
Yeah.
And I started it again and just could not get into it. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't understand.
Honestly, that's been kind of my issue. Like, I have not watched a ton of anything lately. And it's been a little bit just because I've been, like I said, I've been tired. So, like, I'm not staying up till midnight or 1.
Right.
TV. I'm going to bed at, like, 9:30 and reading a book for an hour. So, I don't know.
You're getting old, champ.
Right? Tell me about it.
That's what that is.
You know, I'm just gonna go upstairs and read my book.
I ain't gonna say I'm not getting old.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So about the guys, explain to me how explain to me a vision a bit.
All right, so had a couple of thoughts watching Thor, and then just generally speaking, like, ancient mythology's always intrigued me, whether it's the Roman gods, the Greek gods. Honestly, at some point, I would love to get more into, like, Norse mythology, and I'd like to get back into, like, reading some stuff like that I guess, I don't know if that would qualify as nonfiction if you're reading about something that was fictional to begin with, but, like, anyways, the thought process was when we had, or looking at the ancient, like, pantheons of gods, whether it was Egypt or Sumeria or Greek, Rome, Norse, like, looking at the different mythologies. One, I think there's a lot of similarities across all of them, and wanted to get into a little bit around, like, why do you think there was similarities across them, as well as, you know, Like,
I see where you're
why
going.
were those gods worshipped? And I think what was interesting to me is that we've had the whole alien talk before, and I think we've talked about the concept of the first man, and like, is it possible that there was a race prior to the current evolution of humans
Right.
that was viewed as like all powerful or whatever, but it was just because they had a greater weld on like technology. But then when you look at the ancient gods, a lot of the time that's around, natural forces that we can explain now. So do you think that that was a scenario where someone figured it out and then just kind of like pretended that they were were a god? Or do you think there's another reason for that? Or was it just people trying to explain things they couldn't explain?
Okay,
So all sorts of different avenues there. I'm wondering if there's one you want to lean into.
First thing that comes to mind is, well, I guess I have a question. What do you mean? Hold on, what was the question exactly? You said a lot of the gods could be explained by natural
phenomena.
Yeah, explain more on that, because the way
you,
I think is, back in the days there were, of course, the gods of war and like this shit like that, like, because they were more so needing favor.
Right.
Well, it's not necessarily like any natural, just, at least in my mind, when you talk about the gods, and you may have others that aren't really in my thought process.
I mean,
currently.
you had Ra in the Egyptian or in the Egyptian pantheon. Ra was the king of the gods, was the sun god. You had Zeus was the king of the gods, was the god of lightning, thunder, whatever. You had Hades, the god of the dead. And then you had gods around different emotions, like the god or goddess of love, and it's.
I see exactly what you're saying.
Again, trying to so are people looking for an influence on those things, or did they just personify something that they didn't quite understand? And then you get into love, and it's like, okay, so were people trying to explain why there was attraction, or why there were feelings that went beyond attraction? Because we know what the monolithic gods of modern day, those are systems of control. And I'm sure at some level, the pantheon of Greek and Roman gods from, the pagan gods were also probably a system of control, but how did you decide which to worship? Or if you were a follower of one, did that mean you didn't believe in the others? Or it's intriguing to me. Or did you pray to multiple, the seven god, the old gods and the new?
Right. What I feel like is we got lazy. I feel like
so we just said, fuck it, there's only going to be one now.
Right. Just put it all into one, where they compartmentalized, like you said, based off of emotion or.
I mean, so what they say about dear Zeus, dear Hera, dear Ares.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what
just
it was.
based on the situation.
You watch, the shows like the Vikings or shit like that, they would go to the god they wanted to pray to.
Yeah.
Whether it be a statue or some sort of shrine, they went to the shrine of the god they were praying
directly trying to intercede with.
Right. And I think that's why sacrifices were involved, because you were needing favor. So whatever you can do to please the gods, for the gods to show favor upon you, is what you would do.
And that's actually a little bit of a backstory on the Thor movie, is that the supervillain, or the villain, his origin story was he was a father, or he was a follower of like the god of the harvest or something.
Uh-huh.
And like the rest of the followers of that god had been massacred, wiped out. And he kept the faith, and he and his daughter like escaped into the desert and kept praying, and eventually his daughter dies. And then the god of the harvest presents himself.
Did you cry?
No, because it
Yeah,
happens
you
so
cried.
early in the movie that like you're not that attached
okay.
yet. But you understand why, like, so he does
Well, so
find
did Bambi's mom.
right. But he does find
And
this
I
god of the
cried.
harvest, and the god of the harvest is like, I could give two shits about you. Your purpose as my follower is to sacrifice and die for me. And what happens is this god of the harvest is sitting there celebrating the fact that he had just killed the previous god killer, and like the god killer's sword goes to this, unfortunate soul, and he kills the god. And that whole piece of it is like, it's interesting to me. That was kind of what spurred all of this is, from making a sacrifice to a god of a particular thing. That seems like, I don't know. Bad harvest, you just got one person to blame. I don't know. It also has me wondering, like, maybe that was a better system.
What, having like multiples?
Uh-huh.
But
It's
I mean,
a little
at
more
the same
individualized.
time, it's not like Pornhub where they calculating how many times
Right.
each guy got hits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I guarantee you, eventually, especially where we're at now, like attention span wise, what we're willing to absorb, eventually you gonna cut them down.
Right. Right.
You know,
No, absolutely.
the
So-
marketer or marketing whatever in me says that if they had a way, they would check to see how many times each god was getting prayed to.
And then they just put that god on the front page
Listen.
above the fold.
We may leave you a couple of them on the side, but this is the guy now.
Right. So do any of those different pantheons, mythologies resonate more with you than other ones? Like, have you ever been fascinated with like one over the other or anything like that?
I mean, I've been fascinated with really any cultures. I don't want to say gods. I mean,
deities
gods,
or
beliefs,
myths
whatever
or-
the case
Yeah.
may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as far as on topic, yeah, I mean, that was the reason when we was in elementary school, I came in the Thor costume and they was like, you're not even the right, that's not the right God category.
It's not for you.
It was
Why
like
don't you go
Greek
look at-
shit and
why
I
don't
was
you go
on
look at-
Roman shit, or I don't know, it was some kind of miscommunication happened there.
I mean, what's interesting is like the Greek and Roman are so close to one another. Like Jupiter and Zeus. Like
Now, what I will say is that's what out of everything that you named when you were first, describing to me what you were envisioning with the topic, that was one of the things that stood out. You said how the different gods were similar.
yeah. Like I almost feel like, and I'm sure it originates before Egypt, but Egypt is the first one that comes to mind in terms of like ancient gods and using deities to explain natural phenomena. And then that kind of grew as the power moved from Egypt to Greece and then to Rome. Like
Right.
those different pantheons are all, they're depicted very differently, but the god of X appears in all of them. And so is that just the flow of like human history and culture? Is that's where that transitioned? And then you have the Norse side, which feels very different than what I'll call the classical deities.
The way I envision it, and this is, just my crazy ass, but the way I envision it is, I know they say we are of God, right? And I find it very ironic that a lot of the things in our body mimic the things in nature around us. So when I hear the gods of love and war and all that, I kind of envision it as like the chakra points of your body.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like each of them are a point in you.
And it's just where that's harnessed. And
Right. Whether it be like some people say the size or the part of your brain that uses math is the most active. So of course he's easy with math. That's how that works. And I feel like it's the same way with the gods ish in you, where it's like you may lean towards war
and being
and that's gonna
warrior.
make you a protector. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you get your personality traits out of. But in the end, it's that old proverb, quote, whatever you want to call it. It's the wolf you feed.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. No.
You gotta love maybe bigger because you like being with people. You like, in any facet.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense.
That's at least the way I see it, or at least it pops in my mind.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it is ironic that all of them are similar in different areas and places in time.
Right. Well, and they're all depicted very differently.
Right. So you can't always assume somebody's biting.
Right.
Somebody stole that vibe.
Yeah, I mean, the Egyptian gods are very anthropomorphic, meaning there's usually a lot of like animal representation in that.
Right.
Whereas the Greek and Roman are like pinnacles of like human.
Right.
And I feel like Norse is actually a blend of both. In a lot of ways, like a lot of times they are pinnacle of human, but there are ones like Freya and Freyr, which are more animalistic, like
right
kind of vibe to them.
Yeah, but to sum it up, the reason why I feel like they are so similar or they share traits are because it's the makeup of ourselves.
It's the human nature side of it.
Right.
I think that makes sense.
It's the makeup of what we idealize, what we think we need. Strength from this, or, understanding with this, or favor from this.
Right. Yeah. And it's probably the dominant, well, I don't know. I go back and forth between the ones that are like emotion based and then the ones that are like natural elements based.
Right. Yeah, the element ones, I think you were onto something where you said that it's just the personification of, or whatever the case may be, because you said the personification of something you can't understand or you don't understand. Because you stare at a bright star in the sky, how long? Once again, we think I asked that question arrogantly, right? Because like you said, could have been a race, species, or whatever prior to us that had it all figured out and got wiped out.
Or just said, fuck it, we out.
Almost like building a ladder too close to the heavens. You know what I'm saying?
Icarus flying too close to the sun.
I gotta knock you back down.
Right.
So I can't say I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I can't find it. The
Well,
question I was gonna ask.
and I'm wondering, I don't know, because the gods aren't really referenced in any of the. What I find interesting is you don't see. I don't know that you see gods being the reason for war until you get to the monolithic gods. Until you get to.
I don't even know if they were reasons for so much as places to call on when.
Right, exactly. But that's kind of what I'm saying is that it wasn't until you get to really the Judeo-Christian God or, the Muslim God, which if you read the texts like Quran, the Old Testament, the Torah, like it's all the same creation story. It just branches from
Right.
basically the point of Jesus and who you believe the prophet was, or if you believe that they were a prophet versus like a representation of God, etc.
Right.
But even in those like creation myths across all three, there's a lot of pagan influence in terms of the old gods.
Wait, repeat that again.
So the three major world religions between Judaism, Christianity, Islam,
Okay.
the root stories there, the creation myths, basically like the Old Testament portion is the same. Like the Old Testament, the Quran, the Torah, like they're very, very similar. And it's not until you get to a certain point in that it branches out into those three different religions. And it's all based on the Prophet Muhammad. Was Moses the closest thing to representation on earth, or was Jesus? Like, those are the three kind of historical figures that God has worked through. Not saying he hasn't worked through other ones, but, like,
Right.
those are the ones that those three religions are based on for the most part. And so, but if you look at everything up until that point, there's a lot of the old gods and the mythology around old gods that's there. So it's all, I mean, again, that's where at some point somebody transferred it from being ways to explain natural elements or natural things to more of a system of control that you needed to unify people under. And maybe that's just the flow of like world history and society. It's the transformation from tribal to global or larger societies. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that. I feel like that proves that there's always been somewhat of a singular power.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the easiest way to control. If you can't wrangle them all up, at least give them something to believe in.
Yeah.
And I don't think that everyone comes to that conclusion. I think that that's a singular or like small group decision.
Yeah.
And then this
is the Illuminati that sits behind everything, or
could be, I don't know, because it may not be that ironic that those different religions start out the same.
Yeah. I don't know.
Especially if these are the rules to the game.
Right.
I don't care what you put in that book after you put this. And then, I don't know. I feel like it's the same reason Catholicism is across the globe. Because I feel like that was the death of the pagan gods.
Yeah. Rome. Yeah. When you centralize the religious and political power in one spot.
And the fact that
Holy Roman Emperor to the Pope. Yep.
And the fact that that spread across the world, really.
Right.
You can find Catholics anywhere. We just talked about Michael Rockefeller.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he was a Catholic. I don't know what that motherfucker believed in, but he was in the tribe. He worked his way into a tribe where they wasn't even allowing motherfuckers in there. So once again,
right,
you can find Catholics anywhere.
No, I'm with you.
So it may not be so ironic. Maybe there is maybe that's where they get the term simulation theory from.
Say more.
Maybe it's not a simulation theory. Maybe this shit's happening in real time and they heard someone say that. Someone of such power that they're like, this is a simulation.
Yeah.
Meaning I control it. I simulate this.
You introduce world events specifically to
gain I'm the guy
reactions.
that controls everything behind the scenes. I simulate. This is a simulation. And then that term got heard by somebody who wasn't supposed to hear it and was like, oh, this is a simulation. We took it elsewhere.
So I think that's a good pivot point in this conversation. So if there is some force behind major world events, what's the end state? What's the end game there? Is it total population control? It's control.
It's always control. It's a misdirect. It's a let me cause this or do this or promote this so they don't notice me actually doing this. Because let's be honest, if everybody knew that the world was run and controlled, operated, wealth, whatever you can think of, by 3 families, people would go crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's it. At least that's against what we're taught.
Right. But
we're taught that anybody can make it. And then when you get that crush of a dream, that boulder that drops on you like, oh, it's only 3 families. And it's the same 3 families for all of time, really.
Right. Well, and even like it's funny because, you know, progressing even in my career the way I have, right?
All of current time, I should specify, but go ahead.
No, but like I've had thoughts. Yeah. I've had thoughts like that. Like I do pretty well. I am nowhere near those major families in terms of wealth, though. Like,
right.
And there is no path for me to ever get to that point. Like, so.
And that's where it gets grim, right? Because you think about how well you're doing and think about how much smaller of a percentile you're involved in.
Right.
And then it's people that have to survive off less.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's kind of my point here. Like, the percentage difference, let's just take income. Let's take the income between you and I. Percentage difference between us isn't as big as it is from me to, like, those families. That's what's crazy to me.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. It's one of those that is generational, and to your point.
It's big, though.
It's huge.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, you and me?
It's big between me and you.
But still, like, it's not even to the same scale.
Right. Like, not at all.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. And you know that money has control. You know that money does manipulate things, really both directly and indirectly. Because they own supply chains. They own, like, that's Walmart's whole thing, right? And that's Amazon's whole thing, is they own the distribution. They own the network. They own the platform. and you do have ridiculous amounts of control. I saw this. I saw this ad, and then I think I saw something else the other day. It was probably on TikTok, but it was like, here's this thing that this person invented, and here's the Amazon Basic version of it, where the Amazon Basics crew basically takes these great ideas and figures out how to do them at a cheaper, smaller scale,
Right.
and rips them off and takes the profit away from the people who actually like put in the work, put in the design, etc. And that shit is crazy.
I mean, but that's just somebody following the blueprint.
Right. But like, there's supposed to be laws against that kind of stuff. Like, that's intellectual property.
That's the, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's the American way.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Let me bootleg this shit. It's just now they're bootlegging it for real and making more money off of it.
I mean, I'm just saying, very rarely is it the guy that put the work in to create the same guy that makes all the money.
Right. No doubt about that.
Very rarely. And then usually when it is that guy, that's where you get the more humbled, you know what I'm saying? The more humbled businessman.
Yeah. No doubt. But still, like, circling back to the thought there around its control. Again, though, control to what end?
I'm
To
telling
put
you,
yourself at the top?
misdirect.
Is that it? Is that it? Just to put those three families more on top than they already are? Or just to keep them there?
To keep them there for generations.
Yeah.
And then to avoid the consequence, right? Because once again, I revert back to saying, if we found out that it was just the 3 to 5 families that controlled everything,
we'd wipe them out.
People would be right. They would be furious. People would be furious. And that is enough of a reason to hide from reality.
Yeah.
Not only do I want to keep or maintain this for generations, I want to avoid any repercussions that comes from operating in this manner.
Yeah.
And a motherfucker that's trying to keep what they have had, as well as protect or save their life, will do the damnedest.
Absolutely.
And we've seen the damnedest be done. That's why I'm like, listen.
But that's also where, I don't know. That's also where all it takes is one person like that in theory. Although, I don't know, you hear this about Buffett, you hear this about Gates giving away their wealth, but we had that discussion last time where it's not being given away, it's being directed towards what they want.
Right.
But it goes back to, like, I think I made this point a year ago. Like, one billionaire who has the life or the life goal of ending world hunger and water scarcity. Because that's all it takes. That's all it takes for somebody to put that kind of infrastructure in place.
I mean, I understand we say that from our perspective.
Right.
That's all it takes. But one billionaire that's willing to devote themselves to that is no longer
a billionaire. Or gets eliminated in other ways, yeah.
Right.
For rocking the boat.
That people make it hard to help.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially no
when
doubt.
It comes to that scale. But I mean, honestly, think about it. People make it hard to help. It's illegal for you to give someone money who's asking for money out in front of a store. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they'll arrest the person at begging and give the person giving a hard time.
Well, and it's too, like, you can only give so much in terms of, like, gifts even. Like, the number there is not that high.
Right. People make it hard to help. And isn't that kind of funny when you really look at it, right? Because why the fuck is it any of your business?
Right. What I do with it, etc.
Why does that matter? What if the income changes? You feel me? What if my friend who only currently has $243 in the bank, very accurate number, by the way, but it's a very specific and accurate
Example.
number. That's just because I did my calculations today. But what was I about to say?
People make it hard to help if your friend only has that amount in their account.
Oh yeah, why can't we change incomes? If your friend only has 243,000 and you sitting on 150, why can't I give you the difference?
Delta. Yeah.
You hold this. You feel what I'm saying? You hold this, and I'll take the 243. I got everything taken care of on my end right now. We'll reverse it back when the time comes.
Right. No doubt.
But at the same time, imagine all the different paperwork you got to file on your taxes if you do something like that.
Right. Because you're getting the shit taxed out of it anyway, so you can only give them
right
60% of that so that you can pay the taxes on it.
Then you like, fuck it, that's my motherfucker though. I'm still gonna help them out. Let's get a joint account.
Right.
These motherfuckers got to get involved in that. Next thing you know, they asking, is this a marriage or a domestic partnership or what's going on here?
Right. Well, unless you're a corporation, at which point, how are you spending those funds to further the goal of the corporation? And you got to do, LLC taxes and all that kind of shit.
A lot of this shit is weird that would lead you to it's just interesting they use the word woke, right? I know what they were trying to say or trying to do.
Yeah.
But I think I like the Matrix style a little bit more. Like, I'm unplugged.
I hear you.
You feel what I'm saying?
I'm not buying into the
right.
What's in front of me anymore.
You can woke all you fucking want, but if you're still participating in that what am I trying to say? If you're still participating in that, then what's the point of being woke?
Right. If you're still,
you got to unplug altogether.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point.
It's hella motherfuckers that claim they woke, but you don't understand that you're still part of the problem by just
acknowledging that it's a problem doesn't mean that you're changing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're still accepting. You're still part of that system. I get that.
Listen.
I'm part of it.
And to an extent, I am as well, right? But at the same time, it's a thin line between survival, I guess, and standing for something.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Because you stand for something, we all know how fast
all it does is point a target on you. Yeah.
And then it makes it a lot harder for not only you, but the people directly
associated with you
to survive as well.
Right.
That all circles back to it's hard to help a motherfucker. They make it hard to help a motherfucker.
They do.
And then they do their damnedest to try to affect your way of thinking in so many different other ways as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's a mean world. I mean, you just gotta anticipate, and prepare for your defense. I had a conversation with a young lady I worked with today. She was venting about something and asking me what I would do in the situation.
Yeah.
Me, I don't do much. I don't do much. And that's what I was telling her. Like, I'm not gonna stress myself out over what I think may happen or anything like that. I'm just gonna anticipate movements that I see may potentially be coming and prepare my defense.
You know, it's funny. I had that same conversation with my boss today. We had somebody further up the chain basically ask for something, and I was putting it together. And the whole time I'm putting this thing together, I'm like, I got to be careful about how detailed I get. Number one, because it's an executive audience, and they don't read anything I put in front of them anyways. But number two, whatever I put together today in this moment in this ask, I'm going to be asked to put together potentially daily or at least weekly for probably the next 3 months.
Right.
And so being able, to your point, to be able to anticipate something like that, like I made it something easy to put together.
That's why they always say you don't want to show your hand too early. You don't want to let everybody know what you know.
Nope. Ask.
Immediately.
If you ask, I'll tell you. Otherwise, I'm going to give you the information that you need.
In my middle management role, right? Because there are people that I manage that feel more comfortable with me, the system. You're bypassing the standard operating procedures to reach out to me. There are resources out there for you for this very situation, but because you feel comfortable with me, you're reaching out to me.
Right. Well, no, I get a lot of that too. Because despite the fact that Cliff calls me one of the thems, a lot of the folks around still feel like I'm one of the S's. So now I'm not saying they don't consider me part of the leadership or whatever, but
you mean the S's? You mean the see? You even said it backwards. You are them.
No, I said they don't see me as the thems. They see me as the S's.
Oh, okay. You tried to reverse it and give them the them. I see what's going on here.
I'm saying I'm one of the S's still in some of the people's really minds. It's all a shell game, Cliff. It's all a shell game.
Listen, that's why you got unplugged, baby. Catch that shit.
No fucking
Catch that shit like a pop fly. I know what's going on here. And I'll be damned if you see that's what this position really feels like. It feels like the arm around your shoulder. You know what I'm trying to grab your shoulder, but that arm around your shoulder gets to be a folded 90-degree angle around your neck. And eventually they use that pit of their elbow to guide you in the direction that they want you to go in.
Oh no, that's absolutely it.
You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm a us, and I'm still a us, which is why the us's feel comfortable reaching out to me as opposed to the thems. But the thems are over there with their arm on my shoulder, sneaking it in closer and closer like a pervy teen with popcorn in a movie theater.
Reaching around.
Look, and I'm that motherfucker right now, like, excuse me. All right, can you please?
Get off.
That's where I'm at right now in this whole situation, because I look at the thems that I'm in that I've received the invitation to sit at the table with currently, and I think I can have one of you motherfuckers.
I think honestly, like, I go through that still a fair amount as well, because not only am I new to like the leadership table, I'm also still pretty young compared to the rest of the leadership table.
Right. Okay.
And so I am constantly watching my back on that kind of stuff.
Right.
And even my boss was like, be careful getting too comfortable with some of these people because they will find a weakness and will exploit it. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I'm like, the problem is I got to watch out from that from you too.
Listen, right. But you You can't even let them know you think like that.
Right.
You know, you can't even let them know you thinking like that because you gotta make them think that
they have the control. Absolutely.
Right. And when I was talking to the young lady, I was saying just that, like my perspective, I always related to fighting.
Yeah.
And I said the same to her because let's be honest, it hurts. It hurts. That shit hurts. Nobody knows.
Right.
The move are made, and you prepare your defense and your reaction. And you take that into every aspect of your life. Sometimes that becomes a manipulation.
Yeah.
If I can anticipate the moves that you're about to throw, I can put you in the position I need you to be in to throw them.
Right.
And if I got you where I want you when you choose to throw that punch, my reaction is going to be that much better.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Nope. I'm with you.
That's why you can't let them know what you got. You can't show your hand too early. Never show your hand too early to anyone.
Well, and that's
to anyone.
That's what I'm excited about with like these big sweeping changes that are coming is that I've been moving the pieces on this chessboard around for 3 years.
Right. And all the work that we have to do, whether it be training revamps or whatever the case may be, is all delegated out to each individual.
Yeah.
So immediately that makes my skin crawl. Are still there until it's already been rolled out and presented.
No doubt. Like that was that is the sum of. So you know that the work thing that's been going on, there was a big project that installed at the end of June.
Right.
There was probably a 3-week, maybe 4-week span there, 3 weeks, because this is the 4th, and I'm getting it corrected. Where like I was the keeper of like the central story and the central knowledge, and the reason for that was
I don't like that either.
No, I did not, and I didn't like it either. Like if it had to be anybody, I'm glad it was me. But it was also a situation where, like, all right, this is where people are going to try to pinpoint my weak spots in terms of, like, oh, you missed that, or oh, you missed that, or oh, you missed that. So for, like, the last 2 weeks, I've been moving pieces behind the scenes to get it teed up so that, all right, it is this team of now 5 people that are dealing with this so that I've got extra eyes to get attention in the right places and it's people I trust.
Right.
Whereas before the big install, I didn't get to pick my team. I had what I was handed. Now I've gotten to pick my team, and now I have people in positions that I trust. And that's been the whole thing with moving these chess pieces around for this stuff that's developing at work is that, like, all right, I pulled this person, I didn't pull that person, but I know they got my back, and when they come over, cool. Or I didn't pull that person, but there's somebody that I can trust that I'm leaving in that organization.
Right.
Because I need somebody I can trust in that organization.
Right.
So that's been those are the chess pieces that have been moving for, 2-3 years is that I've pinpointed the people that I think I can trust. Now, again, you can't trust anybody in the long run, but like I've pinpointed the people that I have faith in to do their job well, and I have faith in will shoot me straight whether or not we see eye to eye.
Right.
And so those pieces are in like all the different places where I need them to be right now.
Listen, that's the name of the game though.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
I probably would have made more as a drug dealer.
You're not wrong.
If I could have applied that mind to that instead.
You're not wrong.
It's a higher risk, probably a higher reward.
You got, but you
that's how I become one of the families, Cliff. So I apply this logic and this
you already
political.
got the ball here. You're gonna turn into Eisenhower. Let me find Mike in a bucket hat and some fucking aviators, and he's either Johnny Depp from Fear and Loathing, Or he's selling meth.
I got that new.
Listen. But I mean, you're not wrong though.
No, it's just where you apply it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm not. Just I'm not.
You're not. I hear you. All right. Well, I know we've been trying to, or I know we talked last time about keeping it to closer to that 90-minute mark instead of 2 hours, which means we got like 15 minutes or so left, and we'll see how the conversation goes. I do have a set of would you rather's pulled up. You want to play?
I'll play.
All right. The first one's probably more in my camp, but I think I know where you're going on it. Would you rather live in the fantasy world of Lord of the Rings as a hobbit or live in an unknown world of Star Wars as a Jedi who has to be a warrior? I already know the answer to this one. You are not gonna be a hobbit.
I mean, I feel like that's what I am now.
Already.
Nah, I feel like I'm more of a dwarf than a hobbit.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Or an unknown Jedi. And see, I don't like space.
Yeah, but you're on an unknown world. Doesn't mean you're necessarily in space. You're just in an.
Did they even have hobbit warriors?
I mean, D&D does. Lord of the Rings. I mean, Merry and Pippin swung a sword. They got involved in the fight.
but I don't think I've ever seen a hobbit
in like armor or anything. No.
Right.
Okay,
yeah, no, I'm going Jedi.
Yeah.
And if I die at sea, bury me with my ancestors.
I, on the other hand, am going to be a hobbit and just live in a hole in the ground. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm fighting.
All right.
Yeah, so one of them tree people stomp on you and roots go through you.
Yes.
What's next?
Would you rather? I think I know the answer to this one too. Would you rather?
I think I might have been wrong on the first one though. Something is intriguing me about
being a hobbit.
That I'm not thinking.
I mean, people would underestimate you for sure, and if you were known to be a Jedi, you'd probably be a target.
See, and that's another thing. I don't know enough about that. I think I'm probably have to retract my previous. I'm going Hobbit.
All right. The next one I think I already know, and this would probably be a quick one. Would you rather lose a leg but live until 90 or keep your legs and die at 65? I want to die at 65 anyways.
Yeah, 65. That's an easy one.
All right.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm living 0.5 of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm living 0.5 of that already.
Right.
Like, I ain't had a...
Is that worse? Because you and I've had this talk.
Right. I haven't had a
two good legs
fully
since...
functioning leg since the age of 20.
Right.
So... I mean, of course, it could always be worse, but it's a chance that I get that and die at 65. So what the fuck kind of question is that?
Here's one for you. Would you rather wear an expensive watch that doesn't tell time or a cheap watch that has amazing functions?
It depends on the event, you know?
What you need it for?
Right. If I'm on a mission, I need the cheap shit that works. But if I'm out somewhere,
I just needed to look shiny.
I have my cell phone. This watch is for y'all, not me.
Something shiny. Come on.
Right. I'll look at it.
I'm with you.
I don't know. You tell me. What time is it? Shit. That's a tough one. I don't know. Shit.
I mean,
Because
to your
that
point,
cheap
I've always
watch
got my phone, and most of the time when I wear watches, it's to go with the outfit more than it is to look at
right,
it for
you
the
feel
time.
me? So if you wearing a cheap watch, that motherfucker better be a go-go gadget. Get him. Go-go
Right.
gadget wingman. Go-go gadget, all that.
Otherwise, something shiny that can be your wingman.
Right. You feel me?
I
Bang,
do.
bang. What's next? I'm acing this test.
Would you rather be addicted to Pinterest or Twitter? Is Pinterest even still around?
You know what? I don't know about either of those.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you.
I feel like there is more, like, I feel like Pinterest is used more for, like, hobbies. Like, it's almost more productive than Twitter is. Twitter is just a bunch of ads and then people yelling at each other.
Is it videos on Twitter, like, or is it?
I mean, I'm assuming this is in reference to just like the standard Twitter. Like, yes, you can post video, like you can reference videos, but
Okay. You know, I don't know. I mean, I know when we first started, almost 3 years ago, I set that Twitter up, but I don't even open it, to be honest.
I'm with you. I don't either. My mom was telling me, like, my godmother was in town from Arizona, and she's like, "Well, didn't you see that she was driving to Columbus from on Facebook?" And I'm like, "Mom,
Hey, I'm barely on that.
Other than posting like the show for Cliff and I am not on Facebook."
Yeah, I'm barely on that as well.
Maybe an occasional Andrew picture, but even then, most of the time I post it to Instagram, and then it gets copied to Facebook. So, I'm with you.
Yeah, so I don't know. Pass. What's next?
Ooh, here's a good one.
Sounds like it.
Would you rather be able to manipulate the weather or speak to the dead?
See, that's interesting, right? Because immediately my mind went speak to the dead, but my first question before I would ever give that answer is, would they be available at all times?
I think
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is it a situation where I can summon?
You can someone to speak it to, or are you only like presented with what comes your way?
Right, exactly. And my
like the dating apps. Is it the dating apps of speaking to the dead? Like, I don't get to pick the ones I could swipe right on them, or they can swipe right. Like, we both have to swipe right.
Right.
Or can people that I don't want to talk to that are dead come talk to me?
And then another thing is, you can't. It's not like you just rolling with me like an entourage, like,
right?
Because I imagine that ability to be more beneficial in real time.
Right.
Like, if you bump into somebody and they like, oh, nope, not him. I know him. He been, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
If that person isn't standing over your shoulder when you have that altercation,
right,
you don't even know to summon that person to get the information from them. So weather may be it. I'm going weather.
I think, to your point, there are riders with the if you want to or speak to the dead.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to choose who I'm talking to. And if I don't want to talk to somebody, I want to be able to turn it off.
Right. But I mean, if that was your power, it would be up to you to know how to control it.
True.
My whole thing is, if I'm in a situation where I'm at a trivia game at a bar, and I'm like, ooh, I need to summon Abraham Lincoln for this question. How fast is this motherfucker gonna pop up to be able to answer?
Is he there right then? Or, I mean, there's a lot of dead people.
Right. You feel what I'm saying?
Dead traffic.
Do I get a fucking Abraham Lincoln, what you call it? Impersonator that died in costume. And he's trying to, like, how does that work? So that, I mean, I feel like controlling weather is a lot more straightforward
Yeah.
than
Your Storm from the X-Men.
right. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. I can get with that.
See, I wish that was the first thing that popped in my mind. You know what the first thing that popped in my mind was?
What?
We don't talk about Bruno, no.
I still never seen that. I don't know what that is.
That one of the madrigals can control the weather with her
Listen,
emotions.
all I'm saying, you want to bring back, you want to throw some plugs in. If I could control the weather, I would be riding tornadoes to work like Wyatt Earp from Tall Tales.
Love it. I just want it to be stormy all the time.
Listen,
it
I'm
would never get
on that bitch with a saddle on it.
It would forever be between 45 and 65. where my people thrive. All right. Would you rather be good at 10 things or master one thing with excellence?
I'm going with the 10. What was it? The little Instagram video that they put out where they were like the jack of all trades quote was cut in half. I can't even remember, and you know I've been drinking and all that, but it was like a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Yeah.
But a master of one.
Depends on what the one thing is.
No, how did it go? But a jack of all trades is a master of one, but a master of one. Damn, I can't remember the second half of it from the video. But it was basically alluding to the fact that it's better to be good at a lot of things than just great at one.
Yeah.
I can't remember. That's going to drive me crazy, though.
That's generally my philosophy on things, too, though.
Yeah,
I'd rather be above average at a lot of things than, like, excel at one.
Right. That one can be taken away.
Right. I mean, the one that I wasn't sure how you were going to go on that one.
Yeah, one can be taken away. I got to go with the 10.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, we got enough time for one more. Ooh. That's one I like, but I don't know. We'll see. Would you rather get rid of all internet trolls or get rid of all fake social media accounts? You're not on social media.
It's not really a good one.
Let's see. Ooh, okay, here you go. Would you rather go back 5 years in your life or skip ahead 5 years?
That's tough. I'm gonna go back 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, do I want to go back 5 years?
So I go back 5 years. Andrew's 2. I'm back to still in a shitty situation.
Nah, I'm jumping forward.
My problem with jumping forward is
I don't want to miss a thing.
Exactly. Well, it's that, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, but then he'll be 12, which is where I feel like he will have started to develop into the person I hope he will be. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I'm jumping 4 or 5.
I'm leaning towards that, but I don't know. If I go back 5, I'm trying to get out sooner than I did. And I'm living it up longer. Maybe I'll settle down by the time I get to my age. I don't know.
I looked it up too, and it says a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. William Shakespeare.
Okay. All right. All right, man. Well, we're at about that 90-minute mark. You got anything to close us out?
Nope.
All right, sir. Hey, it's all good. Do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, all that shit. We appreciate it. Love everybody.
Love them all.
Love them all. That's what I say. Does that make love to them? I don't know. Anyways.
You stupid. Don't do that.
After all that, peace out, fools.